Well, SABC News revealed yesterday that the former president is currently unwell and is seeking medical assistance in Moscow. To discuss, we're now joined by Mzwanele Manyi, the spokesperson of the Jacob Zuma Foundation. Mr. Manyi, thank you for being with us. Firstly, can we just get confirmation the former president is in Russia today as we speak?
Yeah, sorry. Good afternoon, Francis, and your viewers. Yes, indeed. He is there and he's been there since, I think, last week or so. Yeah, indeed, he is there receiving medical attention.
Are you able to tell us anything about his condition?
I am not in a position to breach the doctor-patient confidentiality, no.
Okay, but he is unwell. Can you confirm that?
There is no reason that he would have gone all the way to Russia just to go and enjoy the weather there. He has gone there because of health issues, and that's what is being attended to as we speak.
Mr. Manyi, what are the plans now? When does he plan to return?
I think your intro was proper to say when the doctors are done and they've observed and what have you. So the doctors have not said anything at this point. So we don't know when will the doctors say all is in order.
Okay, so no sense of a timeline at this point?
It all depends on how he responds to whatever treatment or procedures that is being subjected to. So this question is very, very, very unfair because you and I are sitting here in Johannesburg. We are not privy to what is really happening there. And even if we did, it would not be for the public to know. But as things stand right now, he's going through various procedures with the medical people. They will say when it's time for him to come home.
Have you had a chance to chat to the former president? Are you able to tell us his view and response to the judgment this week?
No, I think the judgment this week, I can give you the attitude of the foundation to the judgment this week. And firstly, the point that we want to make is that let it be clear that this is a judgment that is dealing with a correctional services case, not the Jacob Zuma Foundation case. It's a correctional services case, and the correctional services was appealing, and which appeal has been refused. We had come in on an intervention basis. Now, immediately when the appeal falls off, it automatically means the intervention we're coming with falls off. That's where things stand at that point. But as to the details of what the correctional services will do, it's the correctional services that must speak to that.
Mm. So you can't say whether you believe, because there are differing interpretations here, even in that insert we had, whether you believe this means the former president must return to jail upon his return to South Africa or not?
I think Advocate Winks is the most sober of the two that have spoken here, because he talked to the thing properly within context. And here's the context. The context is that when the case was happening, that was in August, when the case was happening, and the term at that point was finishing in October, the 7th of October. So when that judgment and when that statement was made in that context, that as we sit here as the Supreme Court of Appeal, President Zuma has got an unfinished business with his incarceration. He must finish his incarceration, as it were. And Advocate Winks makes a very important point to say, well, we are here now in 2023, and that incarceration indeed did happen. The sentiments of the court were already respected because President Zuma then went back to his parole. I think what perhaps South Africans and most people don't seem to appreciate is that, and I tried to tweet this as well, to say when you are in parole, it's almost like you are an outdoor prisoner, but the prisoner you are. That's what it is. Because when you're in parole, when President Zuma was in parole, you'll remember this. He was not able to even do his own press statements. It was a mission for him to even attend family funerals. He couldn't be in a gathering. It was almost like in apartheid times. He couldn't be in a gathering of more than one or two, things like that. It was just a restricted place. If he had to leave the province, he had to report and all of that. Now, for people to deem that as freedom, I think it's madness for people to even think that way, because President Zuma was indeed still a prisoner. He was just an outdoor prisoner. To add to that, the correctional services in October, they actually issued a statement to clarify this, that 7th of October has come and gone. His Excellency President Zuma has served his term as meted out, we still believe unlawfully so by the Constitutional Court, but be that as it may, he has set it out the balance outdoor, but all within correctional services. And the correctional services expressed that they were happy with the way he conducted himself and he has served his term, and that's it. That's where we are. Now, the court position right now, basically, in simple English, is asking the correctional services to either reconfirm his position or deviate it if they think they've got reason to. So we await to hear them on that scope. But as we sit here, we think there's no reason to deviate because President Zuma was an obedient prisoner as to he served his term. What is it that people are making noise about?
So, Mr. Manyi, I think you're right. We do need complete clarity from the Commissioner of Correctional Services. Can you tell us, has Correctional Services been in touch with the former president at all? Have the foundation or the former president been in touch with Correctional Services the other way around to get clarity?
No, we're not going to do that, because if we do that, we'll be again accused of interfering with various arms of government. This is an executive decision, and will allow the commissioner, using his structures that he needs to talk to, it will be purely the decision of the correctional services. President Zuma, the foundation, were not going to be interfering with that decision. We're sitting and waiting, but we think that the position they issued in October 2022, there hasn't been anything persuasive to say that position is incorrect. Because indeed, Advocate Winks makes a very important point to say, don't forget that when this thing about going back to finish was because at that time, there was still time to finish. That time to finish has come and gone. So why are we like in a stark record here now, as if we don't understand that the hearing was in August and the time to finish was in October. October has come and gone. And at that time, President Zuma carried on under the prison conditions, under correctional services prison conditions. So
my final question, Mr. Manyi, sorry, just to interject, just because of time. Some people are looking at the timing here. He was found in contempt in July 2021. That sparked the July unrest that we saw across 2 provinces. We've had some truck attacks of late. Whatever happens, this is a tense situation. Will the former president himself be calling for calm?
I think let's be clear. There was an independent panel report that spoke to what happened. The independent report that looked into the July riots, they came with a conclusion which media is ignoring. And the conclusion the panel came to was that there is a National Security Council chaired by Mr. Ramaphosa, which is supposed to sit to process intelligence information. The panel was very clear that information was given to say there is something that is about to happen, as it were, and therefore there needed to be something that is being done. But because Ramaphosa was busy perhaps at Phala or everywhere and not doing his job as the president of the country, he failed to convene that meeting, and as a result, all intelligence reports that were supposed to be processed were not processed, and then the country was taken by surprise. We hope that since then, that Security Council has been sitting and preparing for whatever eventuality happens on anything, on any matter, as it were, so that we don't get surprised as a country and yet we have paid for resources that are supposed to safeguard the security of this country. So indeed, we're in the hands of President Ramaphosa.
All right, thank you. We appreciate your time. That was a spokesperson for the Jacob Zuma Foundation, Mzwanele Manyi.